Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Prasar Bharati. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. Tensions simmering between Venezuela and United States as more U.S. military planes land in Puerto Rico. U.S. and Ukraine move closer on peace deal. Trump says progress made, but thorny issues remain. From hill stations to plains, North India witnessing cold wave conditions and dense fog. Delhi wakes up to a foggy morning. Orange alert issued. Advisory for air travelers released. Venezuela's President Nicolas Maduro on Sunday praised the country's military as invincible warriors and received a .5 caliber sniper rifle during a year-end salute to the Bolivarian National Armed Forces in La Guaira. Maduro said the military's values of emancipation and humanism had been strengthened over 27 weeks of tensions with the United States. He also claimed that 2025 had seen the consolidation of Venezuela's national power, not in theory but on the ground, with popular and military forces united under his defense plan. He described the armed forces as prepared to defend sovereignty and territorial integrity.
Each hymn, each flag, each symbol represent a history of our 200 years because our military have a glorious history as emancipating humanists, invincible warriors. Our armed forces are more prepared than ever to continue winning peace.
Meanwhile, amid simmering tensions between Venezuela and the United States, more U.S. military planes arrived in Puerto Rico. The U.S. military has assembled a massive military force in the Caribbean in recent weeks, including an aircraft carrier, fighter jets and other warships. U.S. President Donald Trump said on Sunday that he and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky were getting a lot closer to an agreement to end the conflict in Ukraine, though both leaders acknowledged that some of the thorniest details remain unresolved.
The much-anticipated talks to end the Russia-Ukraine conflict took place in Florida on Sunday, where U.S. President Donald Trump claimed that negotiators are getting closer to Ukraine peace deal, though he acknowledged that thorny issues remain and declined to provide a concrete timeline for when they might be resolved. The two leaders spoke at a joint press conference after meeting at Trump's Mar-a-Lago resort in Florida. Trump said it will be clear in a few weeks whether negotiations to end the conflict will succeed. Both men have said that both countries are broadly in agreement about most of the points in the negotiation. Notably, however, both Trump and Zelensky did not offer any timelines, instead vowing to have their teams meet again in the coming weeks. Trump called it a terrific meeting and described Donbass, the eastern Ukrainian territory on the front line of fighting, as an unresolved issue, but said that they were getting a lot closer to an agreement. Trump said that Russia are going to be helping with the reconstruction of Ukraine. He added that he was open to visiting Ukraine, ideally after a deal was agreed.
We had a terrific meeting. We discussed a lot of things. As you know, I had an excellent phone call with President Putin that lasted for over 2 hours. We discussed a lot of points. And I do think we're getting a lot closer, maybe very close. We spoke to all of those great leaders. They're all great leaders. And we had a great talk with them after we were completed. We thought it was appropriate to speak with them. And our meeting was excellent. We covered, somebody would say 95%. I don't know what percent, but we have made a lot of progress on ending that war, which is really certainly the most deadly war since World War II, probably the biggest war since World War II.
Meanwhile, Zelensky thanked Trump for a great meeting adding that a 20-point peace plan was 90% agreed, calling them the key milestone in achieving lasting peace.
First of all, I would like to thank President Trump for a great meeting at this amazing place in his home in Mar-a-Lago. And we had a really great discussions on all the topics, and we appreciate the progress that was made by American and Ukrainian teams in these recent weeks. And we discussed all the aspects of the peace framework, which includes, and we have great achievements, 20-point peace plan, 90% agreed, and U.S. Ukraine security guarantees 100% agreed. U.S. Europe Ukraine security guarantees almost agreed. Military dimension 100% agreed. Prosperity plan being finalized, and we also discussed the sequencing of the following actions. And we agree that security guarantees is the key milestone in achieving lasting peace, and our teams will continue working on all aspects.
Just before Zelensky and Trump meet, Russian President Vladimir Putin and Trump spoke in a call described as productive by the U.S. President and friendly by Kremlin. Following the meeting, Ukrainian President and other European leaders took to social media to thank U.S. President Donald Trump and welcome progress made on peace negotiations aimed at ending Russia's conflict in Ukraine. Bureau Report, DD India.
U.S. President Donald Trump spoke over a phone call with Russian President Vladimir Putin on Sunday for over an hour, describing the discussion as a good and very productive. The call, initiated by the U.S., focused on Ukraine conflict resolution prospects ahead of Trump's meeting with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. Kremlin aide Yuri Ushakov said both leaders agree a temporary ceasefire would prolong the war, urging Ukraine to make responsible decisions. The Russian president accepted Trump's proposal for working groups on mediation. They plan another call post-meeting. Putin noted Russian advances and no interest in waiting for withdrawals. U.S. President Donald Trump is expected to push for progress in the stalled ceasefire in Gaza when he meets with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu on Monday for talks that will include Israel's concerns over Hezbollah in Lebanon and Iran. Netanyahu said this month that Trump had invited him for talks as Washington pushes to establish transitional governance and an international security force for the Palestinian enclave. Trump has said he could meet with the Israeli leader soon, but the White House has not confirmed details. Netanyahu said on December 22nd that the discussions were expected to cover the second phase of the Gaza ceasefire as well as Iran and Lebanon. Washington brokered ceasefires on all three fronts, but Israel is wary of its foes rebuilding their forces after they were considerably weakened in the conflict. In a latest, China has said on Monday that it is conducting major military exercises around Taiwan, with live fighting activities to be conducted Tuesday across 5 zones in waters and airspace near the self-governed island claimed by Beijing. A statement from spokesman of the Chinese military said that starting from December 29, the People's Liberation Army Eastern Theater Command is dispatching its Army, Navy, Air Force and Rocket Force troops to conduct joint military drills codenamed Justice Mission 2025. Taiwan has strongly condemned China's announcement of large-scale military drills around the island, calling them military intimidation and provocative actions destabilizing regional peace. Taiwan's defense ministry has deployed forces to monitor while urging restraint. And also, Kosovo's ruling party wins vote after year-long political impasse and delayed key international funding. Prime Minister Albin Kurti's party won more than half of the votes in Saturday's election opening. The vote is second this year in Kosovo after Kurti's party fell short of a majority in February. Months of failed coalition talks prompted President Vjosa Osmani to dissolve parliament in November and call an early election. Kurti's party lead with 87% of votes counted after polls closed. Analysts say it is difficult to predict if Kurti will be able to form the government on its own without a coalition to secure the 61 seats in the 120-seat assembly. Kosovo Prime Minister promised he will swiftly form a new government, signaling a possible end to the year-long political deadlock that has paralyzed parliament and delayed key international funding.
Once the results will be certified by Central Election Commission, we should swiftly constitute a parliament out of 10th legislature and then form immediately new government.
And on Sunday, polling stations in Guinea officially closed for the country's first presidential election since 2021. At several polling stations, officials were seen emptying ballot boxes onto tables and calculating results. The vote is Guinea's first presidential election since the 2021 military coup that brought junta leader Mamadi Doumbouya to power. The current military leader is the heavy favorite to win a new 7-year term following constitutional changes that allow him to run and extend his time in office. At one polling station in Conakry, officials announced preliminary results showing a large lead for Doumbouya. GMD won more than 90.85% of the votes, said polling station vice president. Authorities have said provisional nationwide results are expected after counting is completed as attention turns to turnout levels and the overall conduct of the vote. Mexican authorities reported on Sunday that at least 13 people died when an interoceanic train derailed near Nizanda in Oaxaca state. The train carried 250 people, including 241 passengers and 9 crew. Of those aboard, 193 were unharmed, 98 injured, with 36 receiving treatment and 5 in critical condition. Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum stated on X, senior officials were sent to aid victims' families. The Attorney General's office launched an investigation. The 2023 inaugurated train is part of the Interoceanic Corridor project linking Pacific and Gulf coasts to boost trade and regional development as a Panama Canal alternative. South Korean President Lee Jae-myung on Monday apologized to the families of the 179 people who died in a Jeju air crash a year ago. Relatives of the victims have demanded answers about the accident after investigators delayed releasing a report on what went wrong on December 29, 2024, when the Jeju Air jet crash landed and slammed into an embankment at the end of the runway. Relatives of the victims have demanded answers about the accident after investigators delayed releasing a report on what went wrong when the Jeju Air jet crashed. Questions remain about safety lapses, the design of the runway at the Muan International Airport when the crash occurred. South Korea also held a memorial ceremony to commemorate the 1-year anniversary of the Jeju air crash, the country's worst aircraft accident which killed 179 people. Family members of victims and officials attended the ceremony at Muan International Airport, which also released a pre-recorded message from President Lee Jae-myung. One person dead and 2 missing after torrential rains flooded Spain's southern and eastern provinces over the weekend as overflowing riverbeds swept away cars and motorcycles, and authorities warned residents to stay indoors. In southern Spain, search parties were seen combating the area grappled with flash floods. Authorities issued red alert warnings in Valencia, where deadly floods in October last year killed over 220 people and caused billions of euros in damage. 8 other provinces were on orange alert, warning citizens of serious risks to themselves or property and to be prepared for worsening conditions. The heavy rains in Valencia last year caught authorities off guard, with many blaming local and national officials for warning people of the danger too late, eventually prompting the leader of the region to resign. Tourists took advantage of the holiday season on Sunday by ski mountaineering on the slopes of Mount Etna, while Italy's most active volcano continued to erupt unabated. The Department of Civil Protection raised the alert level for Mount Etna from green to yellow on Saturday due to the possible rapid escalation of activity. Despite the volcano's constant eruptions, tourists flocked to Mount Etna to enjoy holiday ski mountaineering and view the massive ash clouds up close. This adventurous turnout occurred when, even after authorities raised warning of a potential rapid escalation in volcanic activity, rising more than 3,300 meters above sea level. Etna dominates eastern Sicily and is monitored around the clock. Its frequent eruptions are a reminder of the powerful forces beneath one of Europe's most closely watched volcanoes. Over the past few days, avalanche danger along the French-Italian border has risen sharply following the passage of the weather phenomena known as east return. Heavy snowfall combined with strong shifting winds has created a highly fragile snowpack. Experts say the new layers of snow have failed to bond properly with older, hardened surfaces, significantly increasing the risk of large spontaneous avalanches. Authorities have now raised the avalanche danger level to extremely dangerous and life-threatening. Several alpine regions have closed off pist areas, ski routes and high-altitude roads as a precaution. Moving on to a news coming in, and a tragic mishap in the city of Manado on Indonesia's Sulawesi island. At least 16 people were killed after a fire broke out at a retirement home. The fire at the Verda Damai retirement home was finally extinguished, and authorities are still investigating its cause. We'll keep you updated on the latest on this as more details emerge. And still to come on DD Indian News. Amidst internal rifts within emerging parties and renewed street unrest, Bangladesh readies for parliamentary polls on February 12. Prime Minister Narendra Modi addresses Conference of Chief Secretaries in New Delhi. Union Minister Jitendra Singh lavishes praise on Shanti Bill. You're watching DD News Hour. I'm Siddharth Bharadwaj. And despite anger and deep divisions within the National Citizen Party over an alliance with Jamaat-e-Islami, Bangladesh's Jamaat-e-Islami has announced a new electoral alliance with the NCP and the Liberal Democratic Party ahead of the upcoming parliamentary elections. Jamaat chief Shafiqur Rahman made the announcement in Dhaka on Sunday, saying the NCP had formally agreed to join the alliance despite its leaders not being present at the briefing. The move has triggered sharp dissent within the NCP, a student-led party born out of the July uprising. Several senior leaders have questioned the alliance, citing ideological differences and Jamaat's opposition to Bangladesh's independence in 1971. At least 30 NCP leaders have opposed any seat-sharing deal with Jamaat, warning it could damage the party's credibility. Senior leader Tasnim Jara has also resigned and announced she will contest the election as an independent candidate. The alliance signals a major shift in opposition politics, even as it exposes growing divisions within newer political parties ahead of the polls. India rebuffed several Bangladeshi media reports claiming two accused in student leader Sharif Osman Hadi's murder had entered India. BSF chief in Meghalaya, IG O.P. Upadhyay, said that claims are completely false, fabricated and misleading, and there is no evidence to support them. He said that there has been no such cross-border movement from the Meghalaya sector, and even the Bangladesh border guard has not reported any such incident. Prime Minister Narendra Modi addressed the 5th National Conference of Chief Secretaries on Sunday. The three-day conference was held in Delhi from 26 to 28 of December. Prime Minister observed that this conference marks another decisive step in strengthening the spirit of cooperative federalism and deepening centre-state partnership to achieve the vision of Viksit Bharat. Prime Minister emphasized that human capital comprising knowledge, skills, health and capabilities is the fundamental driver of economic growth and social progress and must be developed through a coordinated whole-of-government approach. Prime Minister emphasized the need to strengthen Atmanirbharta, stating that India must pursue self-reliance with zero defect in products and minimal environmental impact, making the label Made in India synonymous with quality and strengthen our commitment to zero effect, zero defect. He urged the centre and states to jointly identify 100 products for domestic manufacturing to reduce import dependence and strengthen economic resilience in line with the vision of Viksit Bharat. Prime Minister emphasized the need to map skill demand at the state and global levels to better design skill development strategies. In higher education too, he suggested that there is a need for academia and industry to work together to create high-quality talent. Prime Minister also said that all states and union territories must prepare a capacity building plan along with a capacity building commission. He said that the use of AI in governance and awareness on cyber security is need of the hour. States and centre have to put emphasis on cyber security for the security of every citizen. In the conclusion, Prime Minister said that every state must create 10-year actionable plans. Shanti Bill will go down in history as one of the Modi government's biggest science reforms, as Union Minister Science and Technology Dr. Jitendra Singh in a media interview highlighted that Shanti Bill represents a defining departure from convention by positioning science-driven reform at the centre of national transformation. The bill must be seen as one of the most significant science reforms of the Modi government. He said that the Shanti Bill marks a historic reform in India's nuclear sector, unlocking its potential for peaceful, clean and sustainable energy while maintaining uncompromising standards of safety, sovereignty and public interest. Dr. Jitendra Singh also informed that India's nuclear park capacity has doubled from about 4.4 gigawatt in 2014 to nearly 8.7 gigawatt today, with a clear roadmap to scale up substantially in the coming years. He said the government aims to reach around 100 gigawatt of nuclear capacity by 2047, enabling nuclear energy to meet nearly 10% of India's electricity requirements and support the national net zero commitment. A thick white blanket has brought North India to a standstill. From grounded flights in Delhi to an orange alert for dense fog, the winter chill is tightening its grip. With a fresh western disturbance on the horizon, the next few days promise both snow in the hills and a deepening freeze in the plains. Here's more in the report.
The national capital woke up to a ghost white Monday as a layer of dense fog completely swallowed the city. Visibility dropped to near zero, prompting the Indian Met Department to issue an orange alert. While the sun struggled to break through, temperatures remained biting with a minimum of 7 degrees Celsius. The fog did not just affect the traffic on the roads, it brought chaos to the skies as well. At Delhi's IGI airport, authorities were forced to switch to Cat-3 instrument landing systems to manage flights in the blinding mist. Ministry of Civil Aviation issued an advisory that flight operations at select airports may be impacted, leading to possible delays. Major airlines, including Indigo, Air India, and SpiceJet, issued urgent travel advisories, warning passengers of delays and possible cancellations as fluctuating visibility continued to disrupt schedules. The dual menace of freeze and fog has spread through the entire North Indian plains. Isolated areas of Uttar Pradesh, Uttarakhand, and Bihar are currently reeling under cold conditions. A harsh cold wave is sweeping through Punjab, Haryana, Madhya Pradesh, and Jharkhand, where the mercury has plummeted, leaving residents huddled around fires for warmth. Hopes of relief from the dry cold faded as IMD has predicted a fresh western disturbance which is set to hit the western Himalayan region starting Tuesday, December 30th. The system is expected to bring light to moderate rainfall and significant snowfall to Jammu and Kashmir, Ladakh, and Muzaffarabad. By New Year's Eve, the impact will extend to the plains, bringing scattered rain to Punjab, Haryana, and West Uttar Pradesh. Bureau Report, DD India.
You're watching DD India Live, and time now for some sports news. Smriti Mandhana's record-breaking knock powered India to a 13-run win over Sri Lanka in the 4th T20I at Thiruvananthapuram. The women in blue maintained their perfect record over the visitors, extending their lead to 4-0 in the 5-match series. Smriti Mandhana's 80 runs and Shafali Verma's 79 powered India to a record total of 221 for loss of 2 wickets, their highest ever T20 score. The spotlight was firmly on Mandhana as she became the fastest Indian batter to reach 10,000 international runs. In reply, Sri Lanka fought through skipper Chamari Athapathu's 50, but regular wickets derailed their chase as they finished at 191 for 6. Harmanpreet Kaur's side showcased batting depth and dominance, crossing 200 for the second time in the series. The 5th and final T20I will take place on Tuesday at the same venue. World number 1 Magnus Carlsen extended his dominance on the world stage as he clinched his 6th World Rapid Championship title at the FIDE World Rapid and Blitz Chess Championship in Qatar. The Norwegian finished the tournament with 10.5 points, securing the 19th World Championship title overall, ahead of Russia's Vladislav Artemiev, who ended 1 point behind. Carlsen had a frustrating second day, drawing with Maxime Vachier-Lagrave before losing to Artemiev. And however, Carlsen didn't leave room for any late hiccups as he took a full point lead into his final round against Dutch Anish Giri, sealing the title with a draw. For India, Arjun Erigesi and Koneru Hampi won bronze in the open and women's sections, respectively. Defending champion Hampi had tied for first place, scoring 8.5 points, the same as Goriachkina and Zhu Jina. However, both had superior tie-break scores. Had Hampi secured a full point, she would have finished on 9 points and made history by winning her 3rd World Rapid title, something no woman player has achieved so far. And Andhra Pradesh Chief Minister N. Chandrababu Naidu congratulated Grandmaster Koneru Hampi clinching the bronze medal at the FIDE World Rapid Championship. And Chandrababu Naidu wrote on X, and I quote, "Congratulations to Ms. Koneru Hampi on winning the bronze medal at the FIDE World Rapid Championship. Champions are not defined by one result, but by the courage to compete at the highest level again and again. A bronze on the world stage reflects true excellence. Your journey, consistency and the pride you bring to India inspire millions." He also congratulated Arjun Erigesi for his bronze medal as well. He wrote, and I quote, "Congratulations to Arjun Erigesi on winning the bronze medal at the FIDE World Rapid Championship. His podium finish makes him the only Indian male player to achieve this feat since Grandmaster Vishwanathan Anand. A son of Telangana, Arjun has added another chapter of pride to India's illustrious chess legacy." That's all for this edition of DD India Live, but let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms, and you can scan the QR code on the screen to download now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Siddharth Bharadwaj from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India Live.